It's time for our Sunrise Smart Start. One man is dead after a shooting on Forbes Street in Rochester. It's the 10th homicide in the city this year. Police were called to Forbes near Salina Street about 7:30 last night. They found a man in his 30s with a gunshot wound to the upper body. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The victim has not been identified. No arrests have been made. Anyone with information is being asked to call 911. Protesters celebrating Daniel's Day yesterday with a rally and protest that caused the East Avenue Wegmans to shut its doors. The protesters taking to the streets, remembering the life of Daniel Prude and demanding justice for the man who died 7 days after an encounter with Rochester police 1 year ago. Erica Cost live on East Avenue as the doors at that Wegmans reopened at 6 a.m. Erica, good morning.
Good morning, Mark. Well, the Wegmans is up and running after they did close it down, close their doors yesterday when protesters marched all the way down East Ave right to the front doors. A Wegmans spokesperson says their priority is the safety of all customers and employees. So what is next for these protesters? One topic they discussed was the city's police reform plan, which is scheduled for a vote tomorrow by City Council in response to Governor Cuomo's executive order enacted last June. It requires local governments in the state to adopt a police reform plan. The city released their first draft for review in February, and the City Council has been reviewing it, annotating it, and will be voting on it tomorrow. And a big topic of discussion in these City Council meetings is the Person of Crisis team, the PIC team. It's a new pilot program for the city. Mental health professionals respond to crisis calls like the one Daniel Prude was involved in. Right now, the big question is funding. The current funding is $600,000. Some council members want to increase that. Some want to stick with that, and some are saying they want to extend it to a full year. So that is where the status is. They'll be voting tomorrow. For now, in Rochester, Erica Cost, News 8.
All right, Erica, thank you. Daniel's Law also being discussed. That, introduced by local lawmakers, proposes a state and regional mental health response for 911 crisis calls. A Rochester police officer sent to the hospital after being head-butted during a call. Officers responded to Bay Street last night around 6:30. Police telling us a 32-year-old man was outside pointing a knife at officers and asking them to shoot him. A supervisor did call in the person in crisis team, but the subject's actions precluded their arrival. Officers did effectively de-escalate the situation. The man eventually dropped the knife and was taken into custody. While in custody, police say that is when he headbutted the officer, who was taken to the hospital for stitches. The suspect is now facing multiple charges, including menacing of a police officer and assault. All right, Josh, clouds are weighing in on this Wednesday morning early with a little bit of rain as well. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mark, and good morning to you here at 6:50 a.m. The rain coming down lightly in many spots. Heavier clouds up at the Port of Rochester. We're awaiting sunrise, and you can see that dense overcast there over the Genesee and Lake Ontario. Good morning to you in Greece. Here at 57 degrees, one of the warmer spots this morning. That's quite a high launching pad for the temperature. We're some 15 to 20 degrees warmer now than we were at this time yesterday. By the way, there are high wind watches in effect for Friday, so enjoy the mild weather for this afternoon. A little bit of rain for the morning in particular. The stretch continues, highs today into the upper 60s.
Josh, thank you. Let's check our sunrise traffic again. We mentioned that crash in Pittsford a few minutes ago. This is on Clover Street at Canfield Road. So avoid that area if possible. Volume building in from the west side. You see lots of headlights coming toward downtown Rochester along 490, but moving nicely. 390 and 590 doing so as well. So that's a look at your sunrise traffic here at 6:51. Well, in the wake of two mass shootings, Democrats on Capitol Hill renewing calls for gun control. Raquel Martin is in Washington, D.C. with more.
Well, Congress remains extremely polarized when it comes to the issue of gun control. Republicans nearly unilaterally agree that President Biden and Democrats' calls to ban assault weapons or expand background checks would actually just infringe on the rights of law-abiding gun owners.
This is not, it should not be a partisan issue. This is an American issue.
Following two deadly back-to-back mass shootings within a week's time, President Joe Biden is demanding Congress hurry and pass gun control measures.
It will save lives. American lives.
But legislative action remains an uphill battle on Capitol Hill.
Every time there's a shooting, we play this ridiculous theater.
At a Senate hearing Tuesday, Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz said 2 pending bills designed to expand background checks for gun sales won't solve the bigger problem.
Would do nothing to stop these murders.
What we really have a problem in this country is a mental health problem.
Kansas Republican Senator Roger Marshall says the efforts would punish law-abiding gun owners.
I really think that these have no chance of going forward.
The House already passed the plans earlier this month with the support of a handful of Republicans. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who lacks the votes in the Senate, is promising to hold a debate.
I've said that, and it will happen.
Illinois Senator Dick Durbin says the time to act is overdue.
Universal background checks are not only supported by 90% of Americans, but a majority of gun owners.
White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says the White House is considering a range of executive actions to tackle gun violence. Such action would not require the approval of Congress. And it's not just Republicans who oppose Democrats' calls for gun control. West Virginia Democrat Joe Manchin said yesterday he would oppose Democrats' plans to expand background checks. For now in Washington, Raquel Martin, back to you.
Raquel, thank you. Flags at the U.S. Capitol in Washington at half-staff to honor those lives that were lost in Boulder and Atlanta. Well, later today, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand will host her first hearing to examine the epidemic of sexual assault in the military. Senator Gillibrand will convene 3 panels to hear testimony from military sexual assault survivors, advocates, and experts. Thousands of military sexual assault cases go unreported every year, while sexual assault rates have continued to rise across the military. That hearing is set for 2:30 this afternoon. A Chicago suburb will become the first U.S. city to pay reparations to black families. Officials in Evanston, Illinois, have agreed to a new program that would pay $400,000 to black residents harmed by discriminatory housing practices back in 1919 to 1959. The program will offer eligible families up to $25,000 to be used for things like home repairs or mortgage payments. Well, time now for the GRE Morning Business Report. Pace Electronics is expanding operations in Wayne County. The 55,000 square foot production facility will create and retain more than 40 jobs in Williamson. The total project cost there will be about $4 million. The Canandaigua Airport getting $13,000 to help with daily operation. The funding is part of a program to help airports. The money is being provided through the Federal Aviation Administration. Time now for news from around the state. Over 50,000 students in economically disadvantaged school districts across New York will now receive free internet access. The Connect Ed NY program, announced by the Reimagine New York Commission, will begin in May and go until June of next year. Funding for the program is being provided by the Schmidt Futures and Ford Foundation. New York's Attorney General joining 18 other attorneys general across the U.S. to close the ghost gun loophole. Officials say ghost guns are privately made firearms without serial numbers, making them untraceable by law enforcement. The guns are often sold with kits without background checks, allowing them to be purchased by criminals. All right, Josh, putting a bow on this smart start on this Wednesday with a sprinkling of rain, but also some nice warm air as well.
Yeah, grab the umbrella heading out the door this morning. You won't need it, I don't think, for the afternoon, especially from Rochester west. Look at where temperatures are going. The normal highs in the mid-40s. The warm stretch continues. Upper 60s today. A little bit cooler over Wayne County and the Finger Lakes. Cloudy this morning, and again, a little bit of light rain is falling. It'll be mild again for tomorrow, so much so that we could be talking about near record highs well into the low 70s, and then temperatures will trend downwards over the weekend. That's why we've got a storm system with some wind to talk about, a high wind watch in effect for Friday from Rochester west. We're getting into the warmer air now. That's why we get some wet weather this morning. There'll be some breaks of sun for the afternoon. So enjoy the mild air and the mild, dry afternoon.
All right, Josh, thank you. That's it for us for now. Our next update in 30 minutes. CBS This Morning is coming up next. Be safe and have a great day.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.